Hello everyone, and welcome to another comparison video. So the last time we took a look at the hard mode dungeon versus the jungle temple. This time, however, we're going to take a look at which boss is more difficult, Plantera or Duke Fishron. As always, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. And much like the last video, this one is going to be on a case-by-case basis, as the results are going to widely vary. Simply stating that Duke Fishron is the hardest boss could be true, but we'll break things down and see how they work out. And later on in the video, I'll discuss Expert Mode Plantera and Duke Fishron to see which one's tougher there. First up, we're going to take a look at Plantera in the jungle. After you defeat all three mechanical bosses, the next option to go is in the jungle. You'll have to find Plantera's bulb and smash it in order to summon the big hulking plant beast. And while Plantera's gender is up for much debate, one thing's for certain, this thing certainly hits hard. Players can easily use adamantite or titanium armor to defend themselves against Plantera, but being in mid-hard mode, there are much better options. Frost armor, forbidden armor, hallowed armor are really good sets, though chlorophyte armor can give you a slight edge more over the previous armors if you're willing to be patient enough and grind it out. Turtle armor is the absolute best at this point for melee characters, while rangers and mages have to wait till after Plantera is dead before they can reach their upgraded armors. What can make Plantera very challenging is how the player approaches the fight itself. This is going to be a boss battle where you're going to need plenty of space to move around, jump, and avoid plenty of attacks. And boy does Plantera have some. Actually, it has a melee attack, a seed attack, a poison seed attack, a thorn ball attack, all within Phase 1. In Phase 2, it bursts out into a slightly different form, using large melee lunges and flowers in the background as well. Having poison protection for this battle is critical. Again, if not, it's going to make it much more challenging than need be. As for Plantera's attacks, the most powerful is going to be the Thorn Ball. While it's not the fastest attack, it is a decent size and can do some damage. And this is the reason why you need plenty of space against Plantera in order to dodge these kind of attacks. While the seeds are small, they are quite fast, and the lower Plantera gets on health, the faster these seeds come out. This is really a battle where I feel for melee users, because getting close to Plantera can be quite tricky. Between the seeds, the thorn balls, and of course the melee attack, which is the second most damaging one, it takes a little bit of patience and a steady hand to go in and do battle. This is also where building an arena to fight Plantera is kind of important, because you don't want a large open space, rather you'd like to have some crevices in there to help block some of these seeds and thorn balls that come to attack. You'll need to cover to give yourself some time to recoup, drink a potion, and lunge back into battle. That is anyway, unless you decide to use the teleporter trick. With 30,000 hit points overall, Plantera isn't hugely impossible, but can be quite annoying judging by the area you plan to fight in. If you're having a hard time with Plantera, the first place to look at would probably be the area you're fighting in. You may have to make some tweaks, give yourself some hiding room, and overall, don't get cornered. Its range attacks can chew your health down really quick. Overall, stay persistent and you should be able to bring down the big baddie. Next up, we have Duke Fishron. Even with the celestial events being added, Duke Fishron still is an endgame baddie. While it's no longer number 1, he still flies around after being summoned with a truffle worm and wreaks vengeance for whatever you did to its sea minions. Really, I have no idea, but still cool nonetheless. Having 50,000 hit points and stronger attacks than Plantera, you would think this should be the more challenging boss. But as long as you stay in the ocean biome, it's not too bad really. In Phase 1, Duke Fishron has a melee attack and the Sharknado, and they do hit pretty hard, melee doing about a base of 100, with the Sharknado doing a base of 90, while in Phase 2, the melee does 150, and the Cthulhu-Nado does a base of 160. But we're going to look at the area you're doing battle in, which is the ocean biome, a pretty wide open area. You'll certainly have space to move around with, but you may still need platforms or some really good wings for good maneuverability. At this point, you may have already taken on the Pumpkin Moon and the Frost Moon, and in that case, you're probably well armed with either one of those wings and some really good weapons. Melee users should have beetle armor, rangers should have the Shroomite armor, and mages should also have the Spectre armor with the ability to regenerate health, though DPS is fine as well. Duke Fishron really is a charger. The first time around, he'll charge you 5 times. He'll also use his Sharknadoes and a little circle bubble attack, which isn't really too bad unless you're melee, but still, it is avoidable. Even more so if you're using the vampire knives in this battle. His second form gets a little bit more trickier where he uses less charges, but those charges actually become much larger. So you'll have to think a little bit more on your feet in order to dodge him. Again, not too difficult, but you'll have to react pretty quick. To be honest, I actually kind of find this boss battle really enjoyable. I don't know what it is. I don't find the Sharknadoes and the Cthulhu-nados to be very much of a problem, but that's because you have to be aware where they're at and how he operates. There's a little bit of a pattern how Duke Fishron summons his Cthulhu-nados, and once you understand the pattern, you're able to alternate between directions and avoid most of the damage. As long as you got plenty of space to move around on, you should be pretty good, but one thing you should never do is fight him in water, because it becomes a hot mess very quick. Duke Fishron absolutely gets a buff being in water over the player, regardless if you have the Neptune shell. I usually think of that as almost like a second enraged form for Duke Fishron. Even though he technically isn't enraged, the fight does become much more harder for the player in water than anything else. Hey, if you're up for that kind of challenge, go for it, you may enjoy it. In talking, I realized that I may have made Duke Fishron sound a little bit easier, and that's not always going to be the case for everybody. For some, they may find that with lots of preparation, Plantera isn't that difficult at all. And others may find that no matter what they do, Duke Fishron still remains the thorn in their side to this day. In the end, it really does come down to the player's approach on both bosses, which determines the outcome. As always, when people struggle with bosses, I like to say, don't forget potions. They do make a big difference, even more so against Duke Fishron. Those Endurance and Iron Skin potions can go a long way, as well as regeneration. Before I conclude this video, I would like to say when it comes to Expert mode, this is a much different story. Now, Plantera is very challenging in Expert mode. I don't find its final phase as challenging as Duke Fishron's third form, where he begins to charge very fast. With Expert Duke Fishron, I highly recommend using the Master Ninja gear to try to dodge that last form. It is insanely quick. This is something the developers added, which I really enjoy. It really brings out more of Duke Fishron that I kinda wish we could have seen before. Either way though, this was a fun little bit, and when it comes to Expert, I would definitely say Duke is the king. For normal mode, for me it's a little bit even, but maybe a little bit more Plantera. Either way, still two great bosses, and hey, you have to love Plantera's boss song. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you as always. If you have some suggestions for future videos, be sure to throw them down there as well. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to rate it. And if you're having trouble against any of these bosses, I will have a card and a link in the video description to some other videos I've done that may be able to help you. Want to see me in action? I've got plenty of Terraria gameplay on the channel as well, ranging from a vanilla Let's Play all the way down to Clash challenges. So have yourselves a wonderful day, and I'll see you all again next time, and be on the lookout tomorrow for another video. The video's over, but there's more where that came from. Be sure to subscribe for more Terraria Let's Plays, Top 5s, and other videos as well as we cover different titles. You can click on one of the videos here for more. Be sure to rate this video accordingly as it helps the channel out greatly. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will see you again next time.